So I'm here to talk about delivering content experiences with AI and AI search. We're particularly looking at the DAM world and particularly looking at consumer brands more than anything. My name's Cliff Crosby. I've spent most of my life in marketing and retail and technology. And over the last 20 years or 20 years previous, I've worked with the 4 brands that you see up there, all over the world, global positions, and I guess that's what makes me understand how it is to use a DAM and how it is to use digital assets nowadays and work with it. Over the last 10 years, I've been an entrepreneur and really looking at ways to solve with AI all the kind of consumer brand issues of consistency and building your brand in a market, that kind of thing as well. I'm also the ex-CEO of a company called Emrace, and we were acquired by Bynder 1 year ago now to do basically what we're doing, working with technology in that field. In Emrace now, I help companies, mainly consumer brand companies, to adopt AI into their business and get the most out of it, especially when it comes to digital assets and all that kind of work. We spend a lot of time on digital assets because it's just a huge explosion at the moment. We see particularly inside Bynder how the amount of digital assets just grows and grows every year. And if you don't have something to organize that, then you do just descend into chaos of not being able to find things and all the kind of challenges that we know in DAM. We hear all the time about the time that people waste searching for things. We hear all the time about the duplicates and all the kind of versions and all the crops and all these kind of things that turn up in DAMs. And all the time we have stories of not being able to find things, finding the wrong stuff. It just is a chaos in there. And so the impact you guys know on the time of people working in a company, if you waste your time doing this, if it's not the digital marketing team or creatives that are able to find stuff, then the time has been wasted. The impact is on what you put to market, and the impact ultimately is on sales and everything else in there. So we knew that an AI was needed because there was no other way to solve this problem. We know when we try and look for stuff as humans, our capability is very small. But we also knew that it would need to find every kind of duplicate and every similar image and every kind of crop and whatever with 100% accuracy. Because I know from working with DAMs over 20 years, that has just never been possible. So we knew that was needed. And we also knew that tagging was just not the way to go. You know, there is no future in manually tagging assets. So it's great to have them nowadays because someone spent a lot of time on them, but going forward, that just cannot be the way. So we went about looking at an AI that could do this, and we did it through looking at images and assets as a human would. You know, what do I see in this asset, and can I then compare it to another one? But of course, you have to do that in milliseconds, and you have to do that with millions of assets, and it has to happen straight away. So the good news is, we did that, and that's why Bynder acquired our company, which for me was very good. And we're now in the process of putting that into the market right now. And the good news is, it really works, and it's kind of been a good way to do it. I kind of look at it as Bynder's kind of superpower now, because it's something that we know is very unique and building in the platform. So I wanted to take you through a couple of things, just a little bit about Bynder. What we see in terms of how these guys were talking earlier on about how people's mindsets are evolving as they start to think about using AI and what that means. And then I'll take you through the really sort of valuable opportunities we see with AI in this market of managing digital assets, and especially in consumer brands as well. So who are Bynder? You know, when I came into Bynder, this really resonated with me because we were trying to work on exceptional content experience, how I could find everything I needed, and this mission of just trying to reduce complexity and just try and make it simple to find what you're looking for and build that into a rich platform that can do all the work you need to do when it comes to marketing was a kind of key thing to do. So just to give you where we're at, we currently today manage now well over 200 million assets. We work with 4,000 clients worldwide, and amongst this is the largest brands in the world. There's many of them in there with us. We serve about 20 billion assets a month, which are the assets that are going in and being altered and going back and forward. The back and forward each month is huge. And we've been rated by Forrester and G2 as the #1 in DAM. And probably part of the reason for that is we have the most clients in the industry. We have the biggest client base of anyone doing DAM today. So it's kind of a good place to be. And what is DAM? We really see it as a system of record for all the content that a company has. We kind of centralize all the creation and management and distribution of assets, and it's all in one place. We kind of streamline the collaboration within a company to try and make it easy to work together on assets. And basically, that makes the whole thing more efficient. And then, of course, for the really big brands, it's about being able to work with assets worldwide while keeping a good brand identity and getting the assets out in the right way. So being able to do that on global scale is kind of key to what we do here. So everyone talks about AI. I mean, if you go around this room, who would love to count how many times AI is printed on something around here? Everyone talks about it. And we're all talking about how it can possibly help us, how it can possibly develop our businesses, you know, what wonderful tools are going to come, how we can use it, and all this kind of thing. But with us, it comes down to kind of responsibility, you know. I was at a meeting just recently, a Salesforce conference, and we asked at that conference how many people, how many businesses in the room were actively using AI on a daily basis all the time within their business. There wasn't that many hands went up. And you know, we were dealing with banking and medical healthcare, so that maybe is part of the issue. But people are very cautious about what they're actually putting out there and what they're doing. And especially when it comes to generative AI, and that's where the issues kind of come. But we've seen, we have to make it kind of part of the mission. We've got a big roadmap now of AI going forward. It has to be customer driven. That's why I come from the consumer side into the business. We need to know the customer's business and what they're actually using it for, and it's a very important part. It's got to deliver ROI. This is one of the big things about AI as it is just now. There's so many models, but what is actually delivering a return to a company, and a good return, and that's so important. We set out only 8 months ago with a new AI search tool, which was basically what came from the company Emery's that I was working with into Bynder. We've already, in 8 months, signed up over 400 global brands, already using these tools daily in their business and getting great results from them. And when you think about that, that means, you know, 1 or 2 a day we've been signing onto this platform using these tools. And responsible, we're very transparent about what we do. We comply with everything, and I'll show you how we do that as well. And we've got to ensure that the person that controls that AI is the client themselves. They know what they're actually doing. So it's a huge part of what we do. Whoops, back again. So this mindset really about how it's kind of evolving. You can see here, there's 3 buckets that it falls into that we see constantly in the conversations. And someone did count how many AI models there are, I guess. I'm not sure that 13,000 is right. I'm sure it's probably way more than that. But the key here is about the return on expectation. You know, what am I getting? What is it doing for me? What does that mean for my business? When you get into the second one around privacy and security, I mean, the data we get from Forbes and from McKinsey says 51%. If I was giving you the data I get from every customer I talk to, I would say it's 100%. And especially if the legal team gets involved or someone comes in, then it definitely is 100%. People are very curious about, am I on the safe side here when I bring AI in? And then the third thing we hear all the time is, because of the sheer growth in digital assets now, it's very easy to get into a problematic situation with too many versions, not enough control, and that gets very costly for companies when you can't find what you're looking for. So when it comes to trying to deliver with AI, what we've looked at is how we can do that. And accelerating business performance, we find the best way to do that is just to make sure that everything that's in your digital asset system is findable, searchable, and available to everyone that's in there, and is the right asset that's actually in there. That will then enhance brand impact, because once your people are able to find the right stuff quicker and work with it, we find the time goes over to creative teams being creative and actually spending the time where it matters rather than searching. And that starts to deliver ROI, because what you put into the market is going to be better quality, the right assets, and hopefully if they've spent more time on it, maybe even a better solution. So that gives you time. And that whole about exceptional content experiences, we just find that in having a DAM that is like a single source of truth. Everything is correct, searchable, findable, and when you need it, you can get it. So I'll just give you an idea of some of the tools we're talking about here that are very new on the market, as I say, within 8 months. We've got something called a similarity search. All that means is I can pull an asset from anywhere in my DAM, click on a button, and see every asset that I have that is similar to it. That might be the same products in there. It might be labels on wine bottles. It might be labels on anything that you've produced. But you will find similar assets straight away in an instant, one click. And you can even use multiple images to be the lead for that, to find it. Search by image as well means outside in the big world, you can go on Getty Image, take a URL, you can pull a screenshot, you can do whatever you want, and instantly search that against everything you have within your DAM. So stopping you going off and buying another Getty image for whatever price, you can find something that you've got that already is similar, and we have a lot of use cases around that as well. Text in image. If you remember, there was something inside an image that you can just write in, a phrase, a sentence, a word, anything. Doesn't matter if it's handwritten or whatever it is, you can just search and find it. Really useful for designers and people that have sketches and all that kind of stuff. Really easy to do. A complete duplicate finder, and I know it's an overused thing in DAM. Everyone says, yeah, we can find duplicates. We can find duplicates. We can find every single one of them. So we've put tools in that allow you to control assets as they come into your DAM, control uploads into your DAM, will instantly point out whether you have something the same already existing in your DAM and allow you to deal with it, and will allow the admin of a DAM to constantly look in and check I have no duplicates, and they can even go in and find similar images and deal with versions within there as well and make sure they have the right stuff in there. And then the most recent one we've put on has been speech to text. So if you remember there was a phrase in a video or anything, someone said something, you just type in that phrase, you'll find the video that has that content, and it will take you right to the point in the film where the person said this, and you'll find it. And you can also just, if you want, pull all the text out of that video as well as a document. So it just allows you to search. So all we're doing there is creating search tools that really didn't exist in this format to make things easier for people. Now, how that manifests, if you kind of think of as a business, it means if you think you can search with text or images or designs or even patterns. We have a company that deals in fabrics, so they can take a fabric design they know and they can find all the ones that are similar. Colors, descriptions, anything you add into there you can do. It means you can sort, if you're a football team or you're managing football and you have a match and all your sponsors and all your brands and everything want all their assets the next day usually, and they want all the people and everything else in there. We know this took hours and days for companies to do. But now the whole thing can be done almost instantly, and they can just, here's all the Nike ones, here's all the Adidas stuff, here's whatever, and split these images up. But that was a very manual task before. It avoids, we have a big company I'm going to talk about who have saved millions on just not buying assets or redoing studio shoots because they can use what they've got already in there by being able to find it. So that really optimizes the value. And even if you're trying to find, as I said, something from Getty, but you take an image from there and just compare it and find something you've already got. That just saves you, again, just buying more stuff, you know? So the whole thing we're talking about is just full control, giving over full control to people. And we've got so many more use cases, and I'll talk through some of them, but it just really adds to what you have. And so I'll deal with the one that everyone wants to know about, facial recognition. Can you recognize faces? Well, in the company I was in Emirates, we could do this, but we were very wary of doing it because there's so much legality around this. And now we just launched on the 2nd of this month, so just 2 weeks ago, we launched a facial recognition tool to add to all this as well. And what that does is, if you take any image that's in your set, so it doesn't automatically come up and say, here's everyone famous in your data. If you find one person and you want to recognize that person across, you simply go to that person, type in the name you want to put on them, and then they will be found in every single image you have in your DAM. And if they upload any new images with that person, they will automatically be tagged. So the trick is here, you tag once. Just name one person, then in every image you have, they'll be found. Now, that alone, of course, the moment you do that, you've got biometric data involved, and you're on this. So who uses this? The use cases we've seen so far have been HR in companies where they're allowed to do it, where let's say someone leaves your company, and you have a legal obligation then to remove every image of that person. That is a nightmare of a job, but this, you can do it instantly and just take out all the images. People-centered campaigns, so again, celebrities or anything like that, that have allowed you to look at their image and do it, you can take out. Events and sponsorships, you know, where there's, again, VIPs or attendees, you want to pull all the images from, then this sort of thing is really useful. So it doesn't go onto the internet and identify a famous person through doing that. It simply compares everything in your DAM, and once you give that person a name, they're listed. If you don't give a name to it, it's fine. But it allows you to do what you need to do. So, but still, we've covered ourselves legally. You have to cover yourselves legally. It's an option. It's not something that we put in as part of the AI package all the time, but it's very much dependent on a company wanting to use this. But it's totally available to do. So just some examples I'll give you here of people that have started working with us in the last year with doing this. Siemens Healthcare, you know, 70,000 employees all around the world. They were just creating new assets all the time when they needed something and not going through everything they had. They're estimating this year 3.5 million euros in savings, not producing new assets and not buying assets from anyone else through that. This is what they'll save. Lucid, if you know Lucid Motors, their workforce around the world were looking for assets. It was just a lot of hassle. The DAM was very unorganized. We're now at a 70% workload reduction. This data is coming from them, by the way, not from us. And then we're not allowed to use the name or the brand on there, but the Premier International Race Car Championship drivers, we all know who they are. 2 times faster asset management. After every one of these big races, these guys are looking for the assets. All the sponsors want their assets straight away, and they can just sort them really quickly now and get them out to the people in fast time. So these are the kind of examples of what we're doing. So to finish up, I found this from Accenture, and I kind of thought, this is a bit weird. 3 of 4 execs are saying if they don't scale AI in the next 5 years, they will risk going out of business. That, by the way, is rubbish. That's rubbish. 100% need to scale AI, and they maybe have 1.5 to 2 years maximum, and the competition will crush them if they're not doing it. You will be crushed, because if you see the savings other companies are making, and you're not, you don't stand a chance in this game. It really is about being in on it. And so to leave you with one thought here, if we can boost efficiency by 50%, which we're doing right now, and we aim to do it by at least 70%, we aim to make people at least 70% more efficient, what's your competition? If your competition is doing this and you're not doing this, something to think about, basically. Yeah. Okay, that was all I had. Happy to take any questions. Thank you. Yep.
Thank you. Hi there. So my name is Matthew. Your facial recognition, can you segregate it by user profile? So if you only want your HR members to be able to use the facial recognition, can you do that configuration on Bynder?
Yes, you could. Yeah. So you don't need to make it available. The question was about facial recognition. You would have admins inside. Every user would not be able to see this. So it really depends as the company what your use would be for that. And that's why we make it optional, because it's not something for everyone. And some countries it's not even legal to do it. So, you know, it really has to be an optional thing. But we've tried to make it as simple as it possibly can. Sure.
Hi, my name is Afonso. I work for a digital business accelerator. I wanted to understand something. So, because you'll have a huge library of digital assets, is Bynder thinking, or would it also be a possibility to generate assets based on your own library?
Yeah, so the generative side, so the question was, if you have a huge bunch of assets within your company, would we produce tools that would generate more assets based on that? We have transformational tools, and if we're at D14, here, no, go. No, I've lost the last slide. We're at D14 booth along here. And if you want to come along, there are a whole bunch of tools go on the back of this.
Okay.
And ones where you can transform assets and all that kind of thing, yes. But the guys along at the booth will demo that stuff to you and show you what there is.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. There's a guy that...
Hi, Cliff. Is that on? Thanks.
Yeah.
How, in terms of power consumption and how companies are having to sort of really having to increase.
Say again, sorry.
Can you hear me?
Is
it closer? There we go. Oh, I'm really close now. So thanks, Cliff. What I was asking is, where companies are having to put in ESG reporting and they're looking at the cost of their IT, what sort of savings can they get when they're creating more efficiencies within their content management? Oh. And is that something you're able to help out and give them back a number?
We can definitely help. I mean, we're getting numbers from the companies we work with.
Yeah.
It kind of depends what you're using it for and how you're doing it. So come along there, we'll have a chat about it.
Okay, thank you.
Too many things to deal with in one. It could be a long answer.
Is that close enough?
That's good.
Okay. How do you deal with the rights issues? So can you also detect whether people put assets into DAM and they're not originally produced? And then copyright issues as well. Do you have anything in Bynder for that as well?
Yeah, we have some copyright tools. Again, at the booth we can show you that stuff. It's a big question nowadays about, can AI recognize AI as it comes into the system?
That was going to be my next question. Can you recognize that it's made by AI?
And we haven't gone there yet, but I believe that's going to be possible, you know. And it's probably going to be necessary, because to trust what you put into the market, you need to know that you have the rights to these images, that you know you're not producing something out there. So I think that's something that's got to come. Yeah.
Brilliant, thank you.
Okay. All right, sorry guys, got to stop there. We're at D14. If you want to come and chat to us, we'll see you there. Yeah, thank you.